What's up, everyone? This is Aaron the Blue Tuber, and the Royal Rumble is almost a day away. Okay, it's Saturday morning, 1:21 a.m. So we got about a day and a half. We got the whole day of Saturday, and then tomorrow night is the Royal Rumble 2017. So before that, I wanted to kind of give my thoughts on something that I've always had a little bit of a curiosity about, and a question that I've asked a couple of my friends and have asked myself a few times. And I'm sorry if I hurt the feelings of any of these indie darling loving fans, but the question remains: has Daniel Bryan ruined the Royal Rumble from this point on? And I'll kind of give you a brief understanding of what I mean. So for those who don't know, Daniel Bryan is a WWE superstar he's the general manager of SmackDown Live right now. But a couple years ago, he was one of the hottest, if not the hottest wrestler WWE had. Overwhelming in popularity. He grew in popularity from mid to end 2012, and it just hit its peak through 2013, defeating John Cena clean at SummerSlam of 2013 to winning the WWE Championship, which made fans happy. Then he lost it towards the end of the match, thanks to Triple H and Randy Orton. Thus began Daniel Bryan versus The Authority. And the more The Authority pushed back against Daniel Bryan, the more the fans cheered for him. And that would lead into, for some reason, he split from The Authority. Angle ended up fighting Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family for a couple of months. This led us to the 2014 Royal Rumble, which in itself is a very interesting Royal Rumble. Number one, it was CM Punk's last night performing as a wrestler for the WWE. Secondly, it featured possibly one of the biggest debacles and controversies that WWE's faced in quite a while. You see, earlier in the night, Daniel Bryan fought Bray Wyatt in what was considered a potential 2014 Match of the Year candidate. Really good match. And he defeated Bray Wyatt. After the ending of their little storyline and whatnot, Daniel Bryan defeated Bray Wyatt. The fans were happy. They got through a really stale and boring Randy Orton John Cena match because they've seen that a million times, and they just wanted to get to the Royal Rumble. To get to the Royal Rumble, the fans are looking forward for Daniel Bryan to win the match. And even at the time, I thought this is probably going to happen. Randy Orton's going to face probably Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. That's the thought I had. But a couple of factors played into it. Number one, the news of Batista showing up in the Rumble was leaked, so they had to schedule his return debut, re-debut, weeks prior. So a lot of the heavy rumors was that Batista was going to win. And I, for one, thought, yeah, this is a pretty big possibility that he's going to win. And the Rumble happened. And it's just your standard Rumble, okay? Nothing really too different. I mean, Batista comes out. He's getting a mixed reaction, okay? You got a lot of people booing him, but you got a lot of people cheering him. Roman Reigns is on a tear. This is back when everyone kind of liked Roman Reigns a little bit. And as the match kept going on and the next person come after the next person and the next person, the crowd was starting to get a little tense, because Daniel Bryan hadn't showed up yet. And then we get to the number 30. 29 superstars have already entered. We have one more left to come out. And these fans are like, wow, Daniel Bryan. And I remember watching this live. I was like, oh, interesting. Daniel Bryan coming out number 30? I mean, that kind of threw me off that he wasn't going to win if he come out number 30, because I doubt that. But I didn't even have to worry about that, because guess who came out at number 30? Rey Mysterio. Not Daniel Bryan, Rey Mysterio. Daniel Bryan was not in that Rumble for no reason. There was no explanation, nothing. There was no stipulation within his match with Bray Wyatt, even though that doesn't matter because he won it anyway, so there was nothing that he could do. The only thing I could think of is the Authority wanted to, or the storyline was that he was banned from the Rumble, which would kind of blend a lot of real life situations, because why would the Authority want Daniel Bryan in the Royal Rumble? I could kind of get that, but at the time nobody was thinking that. He didn't win because he wasn't in it. And that, my friends, is where the Royal Rumble changed forever. Rey Mysterio, a huge beloved superstar for many years, is poured with booze on his way to the ring. Ray didn't do anything wrong. Ray was just doing his job, going out there to try to win the Rumble. He was told, "You're going to be number 30. You're going to go out." And he did, and he just got lit with booze. Now, remember I said Batista sort of had a mixed reaction? All bets were off at that point. Batista was the most hated man in that match. The arena just dead. They were just going nuts. And then I remember we get down to the final three. Sheamus, Roman Reigns, and Batista. Sheamus is supposed to be the babyface, but he's getting booed out of the building. Roman Reigns is technically still a heel, so he's getting boos. Batista is getting ultra boos at this point. Sheamus, of course, gets eliminated. We're down to Roman Reigns and Batista. And by this point, the fans are cheering everything Roman Reigns is doing. So they weren't really cheering for him at first, but every time he does something to Batista, they cheer the shit out of it. And every time Batista lays offense, they boo him. And finally, Batista eliminates Roman Reigns and wins. And celebrates to a sea of boos. And you can see the look on his face as he realizes that his big comeback, being in the main event, winning the title, all those plans have now drastically been put in jeopardy. Because what the WWE creative wanted happen didn't happen. So that was the 2014 Rumble. And of course that all got changed. All that crap that happened with the fan backlash was inevitably resolved, with Batista turning heel by necessity and Daniel Bryan beating Triple H and then going on later that night at WrestleMania and winning the title. However, Daniel Bryan would relinquish the title not too long after that, so it kind of made everything pointless. Moving on. So we go to the 2015 Royal Rumble. Okay, now Daniel Bryan is back. He's back from injury. He says he's going to be in the Royal Rumble match. Okay. So now we know the fans won't be pissed off because they know Daniel Bryan's going to be in the match. But you have to start wondering to yourself, oh shit, what's going to happen if he doesn't win? Because then they're going to be super pissed off too. Which, that's what they did. Daniel Bryan comes out after Bray Wyatt goes through a tear. And Daniel Bryan barely lasts in the Royal Rumble match. Whoop. Tossed over the rope. Which is funny because as Daniel Bryan was eliminated, the next superstar to come out was Goldust. And if you're not familiar with Goldust, the beginning of his Titantron shows Shattered Dream Productions up on the Titantron with a glass breaking. I'm not sure if that was intentional. It's kind of too much of a coincidence to be, maybe, but wow, dick move if that was intentional. And as the previous year, when he didn't come out at number 30, the fact that Daniel Bryan was eliminated sent the crowd in a frenzy. And here's the thing, Batista was the hated man going into that last year's Rumble because people thought he was going to win. Roman Reigns had just come back from his own little injury and was clearly being pushed by creative. So at that point, Roman Reigns got the Batista treatment. And no matter what Roman Reigns did, he was booed the hell out of the building. So Dean Ambrose, who everybody else wanted to win now since he wasn't, they don't want Roman Reigns to win, and Daniel Bryan wasn't going to win, obviously. He gets eliminated by Big Show and Kane, basically tossed out with Dolph Ziggler. So now you got Roman Reigns, you got Big Show and Kane, and everybody knows now that Roman Reigns is going to win. Here comes The Rock to hopefully save everyone from chanting bullshit that they were and all that crap. And even The Rock could not save this moment. The star power of The Rock could not save this moment. He helps Roman Reigns eliminate Big Show and Kane. We think everything's won. Rusev, who had been on the outside of the ropes for previous amounts of time, comes in. The fans go nuts. Here's a guy who has disrespected America and who's been booed out of arenas because he's playing a character who hates America and we're supposed to boo him. Here's a Philadelphia crowd cheering the absolute dog piss out of a Russian, Bulgarian, whatever you want to call him, because they don't want Roman Reigns to win. Roman Reigns ends up winning. And goes on and does whatever he does with Brock Lesnar at that WrestleMania. Then we get to this past year's 2016 Roman Reigns is going into this gung-ho with heat, a heat machine, and fans do not want him to win. Daniel Bryan, of course, at this point, he's not coming back. Triple H wins that Rumble, and the place goes wild. A guy who is normally supposed to be despised as a heel, the guy who they booed and hated so much for hurting Daniel Bryan's chances of becoming WWE Champion again just a few years prior, is now being cheered out of the building because everyone hates Roman Reigns. And all this spoils down to one man, and that is Daniel Bryan. Now, I'm not dissing Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan's done nothing wrong. He's just going out there doing what he's told and playing his part. But the fans who just, I don't get it. You know it's fake, people. It's staged. I mean, you have a right to complain, but we're supposed to all sit and enjoy the Royal Rumble. Sitting there hijacking the show and all that stuff doesn't make it enjoyable for perhaps people at the show watching it, and also people watching it at home. It's kind of like what they did with the Universal title debacle back at SummerSlam last year, where they completely caused a big hissy fit and distracted everyone from enjoying a great match between Rollins and Balor. Even though I didn't really care for the new belt design, I wasn't going to throw a freaking pissy fit over it. So, because of Daniel Bryan, and not blaming him entirely, but because of him, the fans that were very rabidly loyal to him were pissed off. I mean, I don't understand why you'd be pissed off after 2014, because he got his moment. He won at WrestleMania. Would you want him to go back to the main event twice? Why would you want him to go against Brock Lesnar in 2015? Daniel Bryan's got really severe risks of hurting himself even further. You want to put him in the ring with Brock Lesnar and does nothing but suplex the shit out of people? Really? Just to make your own lives happy or whatnot? So yeah, do I think Daniel Bryan ruined the Royal Rumble for a while? And hopefully, now that we know he's not in it and Roman Reigns isn't in this one in 2017, maybe we'll have a good Rumble again with all the unpredictability and all the big name stars that are back. Well, hopefully the Royal Rumble is back to form. But for a while, did Daniel Bryan ruin the Rumble? No, not directly. No, I don't believe. I believe that his influence with the crowd ruined the Rumble, and a lot of the fans ruined the Royal Rumble. Whether or not you believe me or not, that's true. So, there's my thoughts. If you think I'm completely insane and that Daniel Bryan didn't ruin the Royal Rumble, please feel free to tell me. Tell me if you agree with me or whatever. Just leave a comment below. And hopefully you watch the Royal Rumble this year, and let's see how this goes. So as of now, this is Aaron of the Blue Tuber, and I will see you next time.